I wanted to share with you my story. And what people would like in their life and what I would like in my life. I just wanted to talk a little bit about my family. My family is very important to me. I love them. They're very supportive of me. Actually, today is my father's birthday. But family isn't always about blood relatives. I know a lot of my friends will say to me, well, so-and-so is my family. And I say, well, are they really where they grew up? Well, they saw them as their family. Nancy's wife could be my family. And she might be on someone's family that they would consider. Real friends. The difference between real friends and paid friends. And this was a staff person of mine many years ago, probably 20 years ago, 25 years ago. And she was from where I got services. And a lot of people say, well, they're my friends. And Liz Weintraub, or Liz Obermeyer at that time, was my friend because I'm nice and whatever, which I'm really grateful for that. But they're not my friends because you know why? They're getting paid. And how many of us, how many people without disability have friends that are paid people? Yes, you might have your doctor as your friend, and people have tried to tell me that their doctors are their friends and whatever, but they're not really my friend. How I knew that Pat was truly my friend was probably 3 weeks after she left the agency and she quit the agency. She called me up one day and said, would you like to go out to a movie? Just like anyone else would do. And I said, who, me? Why would you ask me? You're no longer working with me. Well, she wanted to get to know me, and I was a nice person, and whatever the case might be, and we became friends, and she's still one of my very closest friends. But she's not getting paid to be my friend. The next slide. This might look like a really nice area to live in, a community. The ones that I live in now, you might have, I can think of this might be a community in Jerusalem or Haifa or I don't know where else in Israel. But the difference between that and the difference between that and the real community and the community I live in now is that there's no gate. This has a gate to go down the driveway to get to that community. How many of you live behind a gate? The first time I said no to my mom and dad, and I love my mom and dad, and I'm very lucky I'm very, very lucky. I know that I am extremely lucky. A lot of my friends and a lot of people that Nancy has talked about didn't have a lot of choices, but I did. But I didn't have a choice about that. And the first time I said no to my mom and dad was around where I was living, because I saw that if I said no to my mom and dad, they would keep me there. Rather the next slide. This is where I live now. The picture, the apartment building where I live now is on the other side. You don't see it. That is another building. That is actually a hotel next door to the shopping center. But I go to the stores all the time. That is REI, which is a sporting store, and there's a phone store that I go to all the time. And people know who I am. People know who I am. People, when I go into a store, they say Liz Weintraub. And the difference between living in the community and being part of the community. You can live in the community all you want. And group home can be in Jerusalem, and group home can be in Haifa, and group home can be wherever here in Israel. But if you're not, you go to the bowling alley and you go to the store and you go here and there in a van, in a group with all your group. Let's go to the grocery store. Let's go to the bowling alley. Let's go here or there. But you know what? I'm part of my synagogue. I go to the store. Well, I have to say my husband goes to the store or else too. But if I did, they would know who I was, because we go. We're not Liz Weintraub who's part of our program. I'm Liz Weintraub who live in Rockville, Maryland, which is outside Washington, D.C. The next slide. This is me and my husband on our anniversary, on our wedding day. We've been married for 11 years. And I wanted to say not everyone has to be married. Not everyone has to be married. So don't say that I told you that everyone has to get married. It's whatever people would like. I know that a lot of people work. I mean, a lot of people have boyfriends and girlfriends, and all they want is a friendship, and that's fine. Maybe all they want is to live together, and that's perfectly fine. But I chose to get married. And I heard yesterday from South Africans, leaders and I forget your leaders, someone, that group, what? Yeah, Link 20. Someone said that they wanted to have a relationship. The next slide. We can help. We can help people. a lot of time in the past, people have helped me, and I'm grateful that people help me all the time with shopping and whatever. My counselor might help me with shopping and clothes shopping and whatever the case might be. But you know what? I can help as well. I can help. And that makes me so proud. And when my mother was sick, she passed away 3 years ago. When my mother got sick, and I had all of us, all four of us, were expected to help my mom out. And guess who they called to stay over when my father needed to go out to town, because my mother couldn't stay by herself because she had dementia, and we were afraid that she would hurt herself for safety reasons and whatever. So they called me and my husband. They didn't call my sisters, and they didn't forget about me. And there are a lot of stories I could share with you about that they asked me to help. They didn't just say, oh, well. The next slide. Having a dream. This is really important because a lot of people say, well, all you can do is work in a workshop. All you can do is work in a flower shop, or all you can do is work in a grocery store. I don't know if you have the 3 F's here in Israel.
What are the 3 F's?
Food, filth, and flowers. All people with disability are expected to do is do those 3 things. And you know what? Dirt, clean up, sweeping. Does that make sense? What?
Tell them about your jobs, what your job is.
My job, I was working in the library. I was working in the library putting away books. And that's all my parents could think about, that I could. But what I really wanted to do is a policy on the list. I really wanted to work in policy. The Knesset here, I would love to go to the Knesset right now. And, but my parents said, guess what they said? And they're wonderful, they were wonderful people. But, and as I said, I got a lot of choice in my life. But you know what? They laughed in my face. They said, no, how could I work in policy? How could I do this? How could I do that? And I do work in policy. I do have a video show that I showed the South African yesterday about policy. It's on YouTube if you're interested. Look it up. So that's my dream. That was my dream, and I'm having it. Don't ever tell me that I can't be a policy maker. And don't ever tell other people that they can't have dreams. I guess the next Aviad told me that she wanted me to talk about self-advocacy for a little bit. Self-advocacy is really important, and it's really important for for people who are supporting people in agencies or whatever, because they need, thank you, they need you, people need you to support them to go to meetings. And I have saw some wonderful examples yesterday about speaking up. I was so impressed that somebody said that they went to the Knesset, that they're learning how to go to the Knesset. That's really cool. That's very cool. Because we're not at that point for agencies to say, let's go to the Capitol. We're just learning how, people are just learning how to say no or yes or whatever in agency. Some people are like my friends and I, but not a lot of people that I know of will go to the Knesset or so a lot of people I heard was, I want a job, I want a home, a real home, I want a career, and the difference between jobs and career, you might think are really small. I have a career. Some people just want jobs, and that's fine. And some people want careers, and that's fine. Thank you.
Two things Michal wanted to say to you.
אחד, עם כל הביקורת כלפי ההורים, כנראה שהם עשו משהו נכון.
With all the criticism towards your parents, they probably have done something very right.
ודבר שני, את באמת דיברת על הקריירה, אבל אני רוצה לשאול גם על הפרנסה. זאת אומרת, האם זה קריירה שמאפשרת לך להתפרנס?
So she asked about your career. Can you make money from your career?
Yes, I do. I do have a real job, a real career. I do get I'm paid just like anyone else that works in policy, and I don't work for an agency. I work for. Can you help me?
So in the United States, there are these things called University Centers of Excellence. So every state has at least one University Center of Excellence, and they have a national organization. And Liz works for the national organization of the University Centers of Excellence. So they do a lot of public policy work around improving lives for people with disabilities. Liz is a public policy analyst, and she does a video called Tuesdays with Liz every Tuesday on a different public policy topic. And those are all on YouTube. So if you wanted to look up Tuesdays with Liz, you could see Liz doing all kinds of public policy discussions, interviews, and she is paid, you know, the same that all of their other public policy analysts are paid. Her husband also works, and so they are self-sufficient. Her husband does all the cooking, I'll say that.
Yes. I'm learning how to cook. Yes.
But where do you think you need help, or how do you, when you need it, who do you turn to?
אבל את צריכה לבקש מיקרופון, אף אחד לא שומע אותך, אז...
I do get services from...
So let me just repeat the question. The question is, what kind of help do you need and do you get? Is that the question? Basically? Yeah.
I do get services actually from an agency, a Jewish organization. You might have heard of it, and I'll tell you later if you're interested. And what I need is someone to help me cook, because it was really important to my husband and my in-laws that I learn how to cook, just in case something should happen to my husband. And he couldn't cook for me. I sometimes need someone to help me shop and figure out like taxes and things like that. I basically can do everything else myself. Sometimes we need someone to, if we have a question about a budget issue or whatever, that's very rare, but we know who to call if we need that.
Liz and I first met because I was part of her circle of support, so she invited me to be part of this group of people who she had come to her apartment like maybe every couple of months, and we would meet, and Liz would tell us, you know, well, I have a wedding to go to, I need somebody to help me go buy something to wear to the wedding, or my checking account, my bank book doesn't balance, I need somebody to help me with banking, and that's how we first became close, is because I was part of her circle of support. Then she moved away from Baltimore, and so do you still have a circle of support?
No.
Nancy, can you say a few words about the circle of support, because it's not very common here?
I can. Circle of support are for people that doesn't get formal support. I get formal supports. Hard to imagine I get formal supports. But people that maybe Nancy might, I know that some of the agencies that Nancy or I know of are Organization Without Walls, and they have, what I mean by that is that they don't have anyone formalized. They have a organization that people just come around once or twice maybe a month or once a month to talk about, well, who wants to help Liz with shopping, who wants to help who wants to help Liz with cooking, and so on, banking, whatever the case might be. And then what I mean by when I was living in Boston or in Baltimore, as Nancy said, I call them a friend because to me, a friend is better than a support person. And I think I mentioned why I'm real concerned about that. People who are getting $5, how many of you have friends who are paid to be in your life? Not very many.
Other questions?
גליה רצתה. Can you?
Hi, Liz.
Hi.
It's the second time that I hear you in less than 12 hours. No, I exaggerated. But it's amazing.
גליה, maybe I will explain to the people. אתמול היה מפגש של לינק 20 של הרשת החברתית של משפחת רודרמן יחד עם מסד נכויות, מפגש של מנהיגים עם מוגבלות שבאו לשמוע את ליז ואחר כך לחשוב איך ביחד הם יכולים לעשות את זה. חבר'ה מבית איזי שפירא וממקומות נוספים היו בקבוצה.
מדהים. First, now I want to say what Tal said just after you left yesterday, the feedback that you get from the young adults leadership group was amazing.
Thank you.
You were inspiring, and I think it's very important for you to get this feedback. And they asked, this is the main question, and now I'm asking you, I have the opportunity to ask you, they say they have many ideas, and they want to do many things, and you were really inspiring. But they're saying, how do they take those ideas for a pragmatic work? Now they have to go and together, all of them, and it's very hard because you know every one of them has different idea and they want to go to a different way, but they know that they need to work together in order to achieve a real result. So the question is, how do they work together? How they sit together? How they take the big ideas into practical methods and become a real self-advocate and change leaders?
Well, how you begin, and I think you're asking how to start a self-advocacy group.
Yes.
And how I will start it is start it with an issue that you're really concerned about. And I'll tell you a story about when I was in New Jersey, people were really concerned about the word client. I hate the word client. The client is like going to the dentist and hearing that drill. Which is, I don't know if in Israel you have dentists, but we have them. So anyway, people got around an advisor, which is a facilitator, maybe like Gali would be an advisor, and writing help people draft a letter. People would think about what they want to say. It would be my words, but because I don't write very well, or maybe it would be hard for me to write and think at the same time, I asked Gali to help me do that. And I picked Gali. It's not an agency picked Gali, I picked Gali. And Gali says, okay, let's sit down and think about what you want to say. And I want to make the point that I picked Gali, because a lot of agencies in America will say, well, Gali or Nancy Rice, who's part of the social, residential program, she's the staff person because she's interested in self-advocacy. So she's the staff. Well, I might not like, and I'm just using that as an example. I might not like Nancy. I might not trust Nancy, but I trust Gali. Does that answer your question?
So Avital just asked me if I would talk a little bit more about the circle of support. So the idea around a circle of support is a person with a disability would choose their own circle of support. So they'd invite people to be part of their circle of support. So it could include family members, neighbors. Some people don't have people to ask, and then it's the job of the agency to help them find people who they could invite. And those people meet and they talk about what the person wants to accomplish and what help they need to accomplish it. They also talk about risky behavior. So the person might say, you know, I want to be able to walk to the store, except the store, it means crossing a very busy road. You know, so the circle of support would try to accomplish that balance we were talking about, helping the person accomplish what they want, and also making sure that the person stays safe and healthy. So if the person says, you know, I just want to, you know, smoke 3 packs of cigarettes a day and eat bacon, you'd say, oh, okay, well, you know, as your friend, I really can't let you do that. Let's see what we can figure out. But also make sure that there aren't rules imposed that don't make any sense. Because we like to impose rules on people and you go, not everybody has these rules. Why should we have these rules for the person who we support? So the circle is really kind of the advocate for the person, helps them accomplish their goals, helps to make sure that that's balanced with keeping them safe, and that's kind of a checks and balances measure. They meet, different, some circles meet weekly, some circles meet monthly, some circles meet, I think Liz's circle, when I was part of it, we met every other month. It was this very powerful group of women. It was very exciting to come together and talk to Liz about what she was doing and what she wanted to do and what her dreams were. And she wanted to move back closer to her family in Washington, D.C. That was one of her goals at that time, but she needed a job. Her job was in Baltimore. She needed a job in Washington in order to move to Washington. So, we came around and our job was just to do what Liz was interested in doing. So we didn't say, and another thing, Liz, is I think you should think about trying to learn to knit. Unless Liz said she was interested in knitting, we don't impose things on her.
Can I, if there's no other questions, I would like to, and if there are questions, I'll take them, but if there's none, I would like to end with a story about a risky behavior and how I got out of the institution, because it kind of ties into I think Michael was talking about, or maybe it was someone else. No, Steve was talking about it this morning. When I was in the institution, I wasn't really happy. Nobody listened to me. Nobody thought that I could live away from the institution. And what I mean by that was the community that was behind the gate. I'm very, very lucky because a lot of my friends live in an institution that was much bigger and much powerful, and you've probably seen pictures of that. You might have them with thousands and thousands of people, but I live in those apartments, and that's what I call institutions. I call them institutions. And so I really wanted to leave, but nobody would listen to me. Nobody would give me the time of the day. And you know what I did? I had what I call, they're truly something like truly this. You can look it up in the medical book, called seizures. Do you know what seizures are? Yes? Well, they were what is called seizures. And I make it up. I rock and rock and rock and rock. They look like seizures. They look exactly like a seizure. And people would get all upset. And they, oh my gosh, just like we would do for a seizure. And I don't mean to pick on anyone who has seizure because they're serious. But that's how I got out of the institution, because I made people stop and listen to me. I made people stop and listen because they were so afraid, just like a regular seizure. And I apologize if I'm picking on people who does have seizure. I'm not here to say that. Yes?
But when we go to these institutions or to these closed workshops, people often tell me, but they're so happy. And then they'll ask the people, aren't you happy here? And they'll say, yeah, we're so happy,
And you know why I would say that? Is because staff, and I'll use Nancy as an example, can I?
Yes, ma'am.
Nancy puts that in my mind. Nancy puts that in my mind to say, yes, yes. Aren't you really?
Here, don't you?
Yes, yes,
know you do.
yes. But then I tell her, I'll be a towel.
Yes.
No, no. I want to get out of the institution. I want to do this.
Let's all thank Liz.